Hello guys, welcome back to Dragon Exotics. Today we will be discussing the truth behind seed in a bird's diet. Now, this has been a topic that's been going on for a long time. Now, way back when people first started trying to domesticate birds, I guess, or bring them into captivity, they saw that birds ate a lot of seeds in the wild, and so they had started to just feed seeds to their birds. Only seeds, nothing else. No variety, just sunflower seeds, peanuts, whatever they can get their hands on. And it stayed that way for quite a few years. Even today, there are quite a few people who only feed seed in their bird's diet. However, a few decades ago, they discovered that birds should really have variety. And so they had started recommending that the majority of the diet would be pellets, or at least a formula that has the minerals, vitamins, and the entire formula that is made for birds to thrive. Now, in addition to that majority pellets, it is really recommended to feed at least 20% vegetables and the occasional fruit for these birds. But the veggies are very important in addition to those pellets to keep our birds happy and healthy. So we kind of made this transition through time from a seed only to now majority pellet plus vegetables and maybe the occasional seed. So what's happening right now? Well, because we've made this big transition from majority pellets and vegetables, which is great, it is still the recommendation and I recommend it, there is a bit of confusion for some people. There are different kinds of people in this world. There's the ones who still continue to feed just seed to their birds, nothing else, seed only, and it could be due to price or just not being educated, or they just are like, oh, well, my birds live this long, I can continue doing it. Or there's the people who, like me, will feed a majority pellet diet plus fruits and vegetables, and then the occasional seed and nuts. And then there is a smaller portion of the population who, because of this whole craze about seed is bad, don't ever feed seed to them, we're trying to get people off seed. We're trying to get them to not feed seed as the big part of the diet. And so in a way, it is causing people to think that seed is just horrible. And that's not necessarily the case. Just because we don't want seed to be a big part of a bird's diet does not mean that it is such a dangerous thing for them. And that's kind of what this video is about. I don't want to bash seed today. I actually want to talk about why it is beneficial, but in moderation. So I have a few samples today, and Fumble and Ember are a little bit stimulated because they know I have it. So I'll show you a few examples. So get ready, everyone. We have a handful of sunflower seeds. You also get to learn about your seeds and nuts and what they all look like today. But this is a sunflower seed. There you go. Would you like one? Yes, you would. Sunflower seeds, when collected fresh, like let's say, make sure they haven't been in a storage unit or stored for years, expired, and who knows what they do to most of the sunflower seeds that they see in stores. But these sunflower seeds, when collected fresh, or when you get them decently fresh, they are high in vitamins, fats, and proteins, and other minerals, of course. But the problem with sunflower seeds is that more than 50% of these seeds actually are made of healthy fat. Now, fat is a good thing. Healthy fat is great, especially if you have a skinny bird and you need them to put on some weight. The problem arises when you are only feeding healthy fat. You're just overloading their systems with fat and fat and fat. So every time they eat those sunflower seeds, they're not getting enough. Fumble, no. Go on. They're not getting enough vitamins to keep them healthy. They're really only getting fat. And though healthy fat is good, it's only good in moderation. So they're missing out on that vitamin A and vitamin D and all of these other vitamins that their body really needs. And so what happens is that fat then builds up in their liver, and it ends up causing problems that lead to obesity, and that can then cause cardiovascular problems, so their heart isn't working properly, and when they're obese, they end up having arthritis at an earlier age, so it puts pressure on their joints, and they just don't feel very good. So that's the big thing with sunflower seeds, is how high in fat they are. But if you feed them in moderation, you're giving your birds a healthy amount of fat, and you're giving them a healthy amount of those vitamins and proteins that it does include. Granted, it's not necessarily enough to thrive off of, but it's a good supplement for their diet. And in the wild, these guys do eat a lot of vegetables and fruits and nuts and seeds, so it's good to at least add a little bit of it to their diet. Just make sure it's in moderation. So our next handy dandy bag here is pumpkin seeds. So here are some pumpkin seeds right there. And I freeze all of my seeds to try and keep them as fresh as possible when I get them, and it also helps seed moths from taking over and making a big mess. Pumpkin seeds are really nice because they are high in fiber and iron and some antioxidants. And so these are really good for birds. They do have some fat, but they're also high in other vitamins and minerals. So it's good. Pumpkin seeds are yummy. I mean, we like to eat pumpkin seeds during, Halloween and the fall season, and birds can eat them too. And they're full of minerals and vitamins that are good for them. It also includes, I believe, magnesium and a few others that I'll list right here. Next, we have a few categories of nuts. Let's just get this here. But before we show you our different varieties of nuts, I also wanted to touch base on the rest of the seeds. You can have seeds such as papaya seeds, which contain a natural digestive enzyme, which helps birds break down certain foods and absorb the nutrients much better. So you can supplement their diet with different seeds to get them different vitamins and minerals that they may not have had just from their general formula or pelleted diet. So it's a good supplement. All right, so the point is that seeds are pretty good to add to the diet, and the best way to do this is through training, because you're not going to give them a lot, and if you do proper training sessions multiple times a day, you're just giving them enough seeds to feel rewarded, and they also love the taste of them. So they make really good motivators when you're trying to train them. Ember, what are you doing, buddy? He's a little crazy today. Another type of seed I wanted to mention that I didn't actually think about until recently is watermelon seeds. Now, watermelon seeds they're great. They're full of they're full of vitamins and other minerals, but two of the vitamins that they're actually high in is vitamin A and vitamin C. The only thing you have to be aware of is that if you're giving watermelon seeds to your bird, you want to make sure that they don't have a iron storage problem, such as iron storage disease. Because when you give vitamin A and C, or foods high in vitamin A or C, to a bird who already has a problem built with that iron buildup, it's going to cause them to absorb more iron and can cause iron to accumulate in the liver. And this is also known as iron storage disease. It's this whole topic. I can always do a video if you'd like, but you want to make sure you're being careful and maybe not giving foods high in iron with foods high in vitamin C together, because it'll increase that iron accumulation. So maybe be careful around toucans or any other susceptible species. Isn't that right? Yeah. Chia seeds are also helpful. They've actually been found to possibly reduce inflammation, and they have been known to lower blood pressure in birds. So it's not an end-all be-all, but it has been shown to at least aid in that, because they're anti-inflammatories and they have some other benefits. But right here we have nuts, because seeds and nuts kind of go in the same category. They're both very high in fat, healthy fat granted, but nuts like this pistachio here, which they are very eager to get, These guys only get them during training, which is why they're kind of going crazy right now. But these are pistachios. There we go. And would you like one? Yeah, good job. I know, it's so yummy. These guys love pistachios. They are considered a jackpot treat. They are the highest reward that they can get because they love them so much. They like breaking them apart and just destroying them and eating them. But they're high in fat and protein and other vitamins and minerals. But because they're high in fat, the same thing goes with everything else we've talked about. Only feed in moderation. Okay. We also have pine nuts, which are also a little bit higher in fat, and they contain, of course, vitamins and minerals, if you hadn't guessed it. Oh, yeah, you guys want these too? Are you gonna do at least a trick for it? We'll see. You wanna do high? Okay, you are being crazy. High five? Yeah, good job. There you go. Do you wanna do anything? Do you wanna step up? Step up? There you go, good boy. Simple tricks for Ember. Yeah, good job, Fumble. But these nuts are all pretty much high in vitamins, minerals, and they're good for birds. They're just high in fat. Same with everything else we have talked about. You guys are a little crazy today. I know, you're, okay, she's taking the bag of nuts. There you go. Oh my goodness. Oh, these birds. And we're back. So I'm just gonna go through a few other types of nuts. Now, hopefully you've gotten the picture that they all are high in fat, you know, minerals and vitamins. And the biggest concern is that too much of this fat causes obesity. And obesity leads to health problems in birds. So we really want to feed these in moderation. So here's an example. We have macadamia nuts. They look fun, you know, you might have them around Christmas time, put them in a nutcracker, or just grab a hammer and a little wrench or something and smash it in your garage. Not saying I haven't done that or anything. Yeah, they're really nice nuts. They taste good, you find them in cookies, they're delicious. But one thing you may have heard is that don't let your dog get a hold of these because they are extremely toxic to dogs and they can be dangerous. You don't have to worry about that with birds because there are many birds who love macadamia nuts. And some of those include hyacinth macaws. They have a very strong beak and they can crack that macadamia nut like it was nothing. Ember and Fumble, on the other hand, well, they're not gonna do much with it. I'd be surprised if they could crack it. I often have to break them with the hammer to get them to eat the nut that's inside of it. So, little disappointing on that part, but there aren't a lot of birds in the world that can crack these because it requires a great amount of pressure and a really big beak. But these also are very nutritious for these guys in moderation, and they enjoy opening them up when they can. Some other options, I know we're going through all the nuts today. I'm just leaning over. Got a handy dandy bag here from O Nuts. I like to get my nuts from the local bird store here, but when I can't, I order from them, and they are a pretty nice company. So we're just gonna grab in here. The only thing I haven't been able to get from them are Brazil nuts, which my birds love, but you know, it's okay. This is a walnut. If you haven't seen one, there goes the walnut. This is a pecan or pecan, however you want to pronounce it. Would you like that? No, you would just want to throw it. This is a hazelnut. Yep, right there. If you've never seen a hazelnut, that's what it looks like. And, oh geez. Let's find a nice one. Oh, here we are. This, my friends, is an almond. One of the most common nuts that you'll see is given to birds, and they love almonds. It's insane. I don't know why. They just love destroying the shell and eating the delicious nut that is inside. Isn't that right? Oh, yes it is. There you go. No, she's too stimulated right now. telling you guys, whenever I make these videos, they are way too stimulated to behave. Okay, all right, everyone, take a minute, just take a minute. If you have birds, you understand that they are kind of crazy, but that's okay. That's okay, isn't it, Em? Come on. There we go. You want to go fly or you want to stay? You want to stay. All right. So I talked about some of the most common nuts and seeds that I would recommend for birds in general, or parrots. And a lot of those do include the moderate amount. So the amount that you would offer just while training, which should be done daily. You know, just it's a very mild amount. I don't throw it in their food bowl. I don't do any of that. I feed it to them while training or in a foraging toy. They have to work for their food. So I recommend sunflower seeds, pine nuts, pistachios, hazelnuts, almonds, pecans, walnuts, oh my, Brazil nuts, pumpkin seeds, let's see what else. Let's see what else I have down there. Pistachios, I don't know if I mentioned, but they love pistachios. But I recommend those. They're all a really nice supplement for birds, especially if you have any underweight birds and you need them to get some healthy fat. I know this has been kind of a long video, but I did want to touch on one more point before I end it today. And that is the topic of aspergillus. And for those of you who may not have heard of it, it is a fungus that grows especially in dirty, contaminated environments. It's kind of found all throughout the country in soils and grows pretty quickly. So this specific fungus has been known to particularly grow in peanut shells, which is why I try to avoid feeding shelled peanuts to my birds. It causes respiratory signs in these guys, and the spores, or the aflatoxins that are released from this fungus, like to collect in the trachea and in the lungs and the air sacs and cause a whole lovely amount of problems for them, including these granulomatous lesions, which I can only describe as like white, and it's just not fun. White and poofy and not super healthy for the birds. And because of these lesions, when you want to treat them after getting aspergillus, you typically have to go in, remove those lesions, clean them up, and then give them an actual antifungal treatment. So it's kind of a pain to treat, and a lot of the time the treatment is unsuccessful. So I like to play it safe and not give shelled peanuts or peanuts in the shell to my birds, because they do pose such a high risk of aspergillus, and you don't know how long they were sitting in storage before you get them. So it's something to be aware of, because it is a dangerous fungus that causes an aflatoxin in these birds. What are you doing, Ember? Yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I'm sorry if it was a little bit long. We did just talk about seeds this whole time. But hey, maybe you learned what a certain seed or nut was that you didn't know about before. And you know, the point is, seeds aren't as bad as some people make them out to be. The biggest thing is that you want to have balance and you want to have variety. Pellets are great for the majority of the diet. Vegetables are definitely needed. And seeds and nuts are such an important supplement. So make sure that if you are feeding seeds and nuts to your bird, that you know they do contain healthy fats, minerals, vitamins. And she just flew away with that. And make sure that you're feeding them in moderation, so only during training sessions, or in foraging treats. You don't want to stuff them with all those healthy fats and make your bird obese, because that's not great for anybody. Hope you guys learned something today. I really thank you for watching, and please reach out with any questions. All right, bye.